This is great. After mastering countless recipes and gathering enough ingredients to last a lifetime, I finally cooked my greatest, grandest masterpiece. Mabo Curry! This is a specially made, one-of-a-kind batch. It contains only the best combination of spices, chosen after a lot of trial and error.
Your...
Spices.
I think I'll have some later after everyone else. I'm not that hungry right now.
You sure?
It does smell pretty tasty now that you mention it.
The heat from the spices is intense, but not persistent, so it's easy to go back for seconds.
You're making a good case for your curry, Alphen. What the hell? Serve me up!
Oh wow, this is actually good.
To be honest, I'm a little scared how my stomach will handle all these spices later. But they really do bring out the flavor.
Indeed. Spice, right? I knew you guys would like it.
Like it? I love it! This is delicious, man!
Law, really? Don't talk with your mouth full.
There's plenty for
I thought we'd find answers on Lenegis, but we just ended up finding more questions.
You can say that again. And now we have more problems to fix too. Like figuring out how to reform Lenegis.
That can wait for now. We've got more than enough on our plates to deal with as it is. Like figuring out who's really running the show on Rena.
Yeah. Which is why we're going to the Renan homeworld.
All the answers we've been looking for are on that planet. The person responsible for all this, the Red Woman, and the Renaissance. The answers have to be there. Are we prepared to finally find them?
So, what do we do first when we get there?
We know nothing about the Renan homeworld or what we might face once we arrive. We should get a feel for how things are on the ground before we take any serious steps.
It's also entirely possible that the first thing we're going to face is an attack.
If we come across a capital, we should... What? Damn! The hell just happened?
Our course has been altered. The coordinates are pointing to a different destination.
What's that?
The ship's controls aren't accepting my commands. The engine is being shut down.
That's bad, right?
Quite bad. We've lost control of the ship.
Is all of this the Red Women's doing?
Are they trying to finish us off before we can land?
Everyone! Look there!
A flower blooming out of Rena?
But that flower looks like it's absorbing all of Dana's energy.
And it appears Lenegis is serving as a conduit for that energy to reach here. Could that have been its true purpose all along?
If that's true, do you think the people back on Lenegis are all right?
We can only pray that they are.
Damn it! Haven't they taken enough already? When is this going to end?
The Flower of Oblivion.
With everything that's happening, we need to get back to Lenegis. Is the ship still offline?
Unfortunately, yes. Even more so than when it lay dormant.
Can you fix it?
Starships are extremely complex machines. One wrong move while we're out here in space could very well cost us our lives.
So what? We're just stuck inside here, floating around? For how long?
I don't believe this. We've made it all this way, and now we're stuck here? We're watching Dana die before our eyes, and we have no choice but to sit here and starve to death?
Law, calm down! You're not the only one who's worried here.
Right. Sorry.
It's still too early to give up. There has to be a way to get out of this.
Alphen.
Now what?
The starship, it's back online?
No, this is different. Something is pulling our ship in towards it.
We managed to get moving, but where are we?
It looks like Lenegis in here.
Do you think we might run into more Renans here? Or those red women?
Perhaps. Someone brought us here. The question is, who?
We haven't been ambushed, so that probably means they aren't hostile. Still, why would anyone want to bring us here?
Hey, Shion!
If they wanted to attack us, they could have done so while we were back on the starship. We should see where this path takes us.
Ah, Shion, just in the nick of time. Here, lend me a hand while I...
No!
What the... Oh, right. The thorns. My bad.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. I overreacted.
Again, Law? Can't you even go a minute without putting your foot in your mouth?
Seriously, it's fine. I'd rather that than people feeling like they're walking on eggshells around me. Besides, I'm the one who should be vigilant about not touching you guys, not the other way around.
Actually, I've been meaning to ask. Not being able to touch people, does it ever get lonely sometimes?
I guess I never really thought about it in those terms. It was either accept it for what it was or come undone. Before long, it was just part of my everyday reality. I think I even forgot there was another way to live. Which isn't to say I didn't feel alone. I did. Always.
So numb to your reality, you couldn't even recognize it as loneliness? I don't know how you managed.
It's fine. I know I'm not alone anymore.
But I can't even touch you. No way of lending you a shoulder when you're down? Even Alphen.
I appreciate the concern. Until I get rid of these thorns, I guess I'll have to put up with it just a little longer. But not forever. Alphen promised me that. Maybe it'll be soon, maybe it won't be. But either way, the day will come. And I'll be ready when it does.
Yeah, just hang in there. One day, we'll share a big warm hug. You'll see. I promise. Boo!
Ah! What the... Are you out of your mind? This isn't the time for games, Rinwell!
Oh, come on. How am I supposed to resist with you looking all jittery like that?
It's called experiencing feelings appropriate to the situation. You ought to try it sometime.
Yeah, but seeing you act all nervous, you're making me start to feel nervous too. Whew!
Oh, sorry.
Staying alert is important, but too much caution can cloud your judgment. Try to strike a balance.
I still can't get over what we saw happening outside the starship.
Yeah, our planet's really not doing too hot right about now.
I've only ever seen Rena from the surface of Dana, so I figured it was just another round planet like ours. Still though, I never would have imagined Rena actually looked like that. And what's the deal with that giant flower coming out of it?
Beats me. I have absolutely no clue. It's so surreal. It looks like a broken egg or something.
Rena and Dana. We were taught that both worlds were spherical bodies that floated amongst the stars in the heavens. But to think that they lied to us not only about the Sovereign and the Crown contest, but also the form of our own planet.
Dohalim.
Okay, who's the wise guy that summoned us here?
Someone formidable and...
That beam of light joining Dana and Rena. It was the Renan side that it first came from, right?
That's what it looked like. And then the Danon side responded.
Perhaps it was some kind of directive from the Renan homeworld? To reawaken the Wedge and Lenegis?
Which would mean that whoever's behind all this is on Rena after all. But what are they after? Is it really worth going through all this trouble just to steal Dana's energy?
Try to stay calm. With so many factors we don't understand, dwelling on it won't get us anywhere. What is it?
No, it's just... Zephyr once told me the same thing. So much for me making progress, huh?
You made it this far. You noticed something?
This place looks a lot like that room we saw back in the Forbidden Zone.
Huh? What's that? It's one of those!
A red woman in disguise. Or is this their true form?
So it was a trap?
It doesn't look like it can move. Tell me, are you the one who brought us here?
That is correct. It is unusual for me to have unexpected guests these days.
It can talk.
What are you?
Hevrect 35.
Hevrect 35. Is that your name?
Correct.
What is this place? No, wait, before that, just what exactly are you? Are you somehow associated with the Red Women?
Before I answer, I have a question for you. How did you all arrive in this sector?
We did not come to this place by choice. Our ship was brought here against our will, by a group of red women who can shift into the same form as you.
In that case, we can assume my brethren who serve the Great Spirit have deemed you all to be a threat most grave.
What do you mean, serve? Are you saying there really is someone more powerful than the Red Women, pulling their strings?
What did you do to us?
I examined your bodies. You have not been harmed in any way. Identifiers detected. The Sovereign and Maiden are among you. However, you aren't under its control. I see why they viewed you as a danger now.
Oh, goody. More riddles.
Do you think we can trust this thing?
Like it or not, it may be our best chance at a ticket out of here. Let's at least hear it out.
I shall now answer your questions. We are Helganquil. The red women you encountered previously are a form of disguise we employ from time to time, but not our true form.
Helganquil?
You are on Dake Phasol, a celestial base which drifted here by accident. The will of Rena's Great Spirit no longer reaches us here. Since my sudden separation from the Great Spirit's influence, I have used any and all means to extend my lifespan. As I have done so, I have also set out to monitor and research Rena and Dana from this position.
A question. What is this Great Spirit of which you speak? Is it something that rules over your kind?
Correct. The Great Astral Spirit is a large mass of astral energy that fills all of Rena, one with its own will, a voice we cannot refuse.
A voice? Just like Dana.
The voice of the Great Spirit speaks to our hearts directly, and we have served it without question throughout the ages.
Does that mean it was controlling your minds? Wait a second. Could this great spirit be the true sovereign of Rena?
The true ruler of Rena. It could be the same thing that's controlling Volron.
Wait, back up. You're telling us this great spirit of yours is the one that ordered you things to harvest the astral energy from Dana? I'm not sure I believe that.
Why not? We've already made contact with the will of Dana back in the Wedge, and in the Forbidden Zone on Lenegus. If Dana has a will of its own, I don't see why Rena wouldn't.
Maybe not, but think about what you're saying. If Dana has a will like Rena, then that would mean that we've been controlled by the voice of Dana this whole time, just like these things.
Dana's will hasn't been forcing us to do anything.
Yeah, but...
Let's assume that what Hevrect-35 claims is true, and that we are indeed cut off from both planets. Even if we had previously been under the control of Dana's will, we would have noticed now that we are disconnected.
Your fear is not based in logic. The voice of Dana is much smaller and quieter compared to that of Rena's great spirit. Rena's astral energy is amassed at its center, whereas Dana's is shared among all its constituents. So thinly is that energy spread that it cannot coalesce and formulate a will. Our findings here indicate as much.
Which explains why we felt its will where we did. The Wedge and Lenegus are where so much of that energy had been accumulated.
The Great Spirit's desire is to consume all astral energy. And the pursuit of that desire is why you see Rena in its current state. As a result, it has turned its attention toward Dana.
Is that why the crown contest is necessary? So that the Great Spirit can feed off of Dana?
Indeed. And it was to that end that we Helganquil devised the crown contest. Had the initial spirit channeling from 300 years ago succeeded, all of Dana's astral energy would have been seized.
But the ceremony failed. Lenegus was severely damaged, and you lost both the Sovereign and the Renasalma.
Correct. A change in plan was required to ensure the spirit channeling success. However, recreating the Renis Alma required a vast amount of energy. That is why we turned to Dana.
So that was the real purpose behind the crown contest. An efficient means to harvest the necessary energy from Dana.
This is all happening because of me.
Nevertheless, you still haven't answered one of Alphen's original questions. Just why have you brought us here to your base, Hevrect-35?
First, it was to confirm the identities of you, my unexpected visitors. Second, it was to ascertain whether you would be likely to accept my request.
A request? But what could someone like you want us to...
I wish for you all to slay the Great Spirit.
I'm sorry, did you just ask us to kill your master?
I did. It is in your best interest that you do so, I might add.
What makes you say that?
Lenegus has entered the final stage of the spirit channeling plan. As we speak, Dana's energy is being harvested en masse and transmitted to Rena. If nothing is done about the Great Spirit, it will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Faisal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
You can't seriously be buying anything that
To be honest, the conversation went on.
At the very least, everything it said about the... That being said, had we not previous...
A spirit.
But why?
It doesn't matter.
Right.
There is one other thing that... How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown contest...
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevrek 35...
Maybe it had a reason for keeping it. Let's find out. Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrek 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Have you guys lived up here in Dake Faisal with Hevrek 35 for a long time?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegus from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrek 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquil have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegus is still run.
But aren't the Helganquil themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquil, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrek 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions. Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans in Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that, we set our sights on Dana, and implemented a system whereby we could extract energy from it.
And the crown contests began.
Correct. Since the Maiden had been the failing point in the previous plan, it was decided to replace her role with machinery to avoid further mishaps. A new Sovereign had to be made as well. It was such tremendously difficult work, its success was dubious. But from the look of things, it would appear such worries were unfounded.
So that's what the purpose of that room we found in the Forbidden Zone was.
What about the flower that sprouted from Rena?
Flower? Oh, that thing. That's the physical manifestation of all the astral energy that's been harvested from Dana. As I'm sure you've noticed, it's quite a lot of energy. At this point, it's likely that it's become physically integrated with Rena's planetary structure.
Hevricht 35 mentioned that the spirit channeling plan is entering its final stage. Is that true?
It is. I never thought I would live to see the day with my own eyes, and yet here we are. Are we done talking now? If it's all the same to you, I'd really rather not miss anything that's about to happen.
He talks like the potential end of the world is just another day on the job.
You've got to remember that these guys have been living alone up here for a long time. Who knows what shape their minds are in?
Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while before the two planets undergo their next shift, so I can talk until then.
Please, tell us what you know about the Helganquil.
You mean the Overseer's species? I can't say I know much about them.
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't. But there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language. People of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use astral arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries.
They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and—
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while.
It feels like our whole world has been turned upside down. Is there anything we know that's still true at this point?
Seriously, I'm still trying to process the fact that we Renans were created by the Helganquil, let alone the Sovereign and Maiden stuff.
Let's take a moment to gather ourselves. I know all of this is a lot to believe and take in, but I think it's fair to say that we've found the answers we've been looking for. Does everyone agree?
Agreed. Though I'll admit that I never expected it to all boil down to Rena's Great Spirit being behind everything.
Everything that's happened, everything we've endured, it's all because of astral energy.
And to get that energy, the Great Spirit took control of the Helganquil. Then the Helganquil created the Renans, who went on to invade and rule over the Danans.
Plus, the reason the Great Spirit can't directly control the Renans as well is likely because they were originally Danans all along.
Either way, I think it's fair to say we've all had a lot to take in at once. Maybe too much, even. We should probably take it easy and rest our minds a bit. Why don't we all take some time to think things over, before we decide on our next move?
That's a good idea, Kisara. If the Renan Great Spirit really is behind all this, then we've got a really big fight ahead of us. Because it's not just Dana on the line, but Rena too. If we're going to do this, we need to be completely sure of ourselves. So let's go ahead and break off for now. We aren't in any immediate danger, so we should be okay. You sure you don't want to be alone right now?
I could ask you the same question.
I figured I'd get all my thinking in while walking around and checking up on everybody.
I'll go along with you. I'm interested to hear what's on everyone's minds too.
Sounds good. Let's go find them.
Everyone's just gone their own way.
Everything we thought we knew. It was all just a fabrication that the Red Women, no, that the Helganquil made up.
Right. Assuming we can believe anything that Hevrek 35 has told us, that is.
Well, if the names are anything to go by, it's possible the Helganquil could be behind the fruits of Helgen too.
But if Hevrek 35 was telling the truth, and this was all just one massive lie, does that mean everything we've done up until now has been pointless?
No, I don't think so. Or at least I hope not. I think it just means we've lost our foothold for now. That's all.
Really? Well then, if we've lost it, I guess we'll just have to find another.
Make.
Oh, it's you two. Does he seem like he's doing any better now?
He who? Oh, you mean Dohalim, don't you?
I know that we're all struggling to wrap our minds around it all, but he looked like he was taking it really hard earlier.
What do you think about everything we've learned? About the Renans and the Great Spirit and all that?
On some level, I'm not even really sure what to think, to be honest. I mean, the Great Spirit is like a huge natural disaster, but with a mind and will of its own. But if that thing's hellbent on trying to destroy our planet, then the only thing left for us to do is stop it. As for the Renans, I suppose my feelings on that are a bit more mixed.
How so?
Coexistence between Danans and Renans in Menancia is still a work in progress. In my case, I think that's partly because deep down, I was still on guard around Renans. So, to be told that they're like us, that they're actually just like us is, well, I guess it's a little deflating, to be honest.
You kept a pretty level head.
You mean about the Renans? At the end of the day, the Helganquil and the Great Spirit are the ones who are responsible. But at the same time, I realize that not every Danan is necessarily going to believe that either.
I know you're already aware of this, but the list of grievances the Danans have against the Renans is long, and understandably so. And if people then find out that they're all actually one and the same, yeah, I don't think they're going to take to it too kindly.
Even just among the Danans, I'm sure there'll be some who emerge with power and some who won't. I think if we can find a way to get rid of that imbalance, then we'll be in a truly good place.
Well, first we can try to figure out what to do about the existing conflicts we have.
Yeah. It'd be nice if one day people could learn to get past their hatred like Rinwell did.
It's no small task. We can't pretend like the past didn't happen and ask people to forget their very real pain and suffering.
Right. Everybody has their reasons for feeling the way that they do. But if we just keep yelling at each other about it, we'll never move on. In a worst-case scenario, it might lead to even more people getting killed.
And we all have to figure out how to meet halfway. Not just that, but to also embrace each other's pain, in a sense.
That's an interesting way of putting it.
It's true. Everybody has their own scars, their own trauma. The first step to healing those wounds is to put aside that hatred. It won't be achieved through reasoning, but I think it's a good first step, if nothing else. And now, I think I see a way to move forward. But to do that, first we need to make sure our planet isn't going to get wiped out.
You both seem awfully calm.
Only because after everything we've seen, we don't have the energy to keep being shocked.
How are you holding up, Rinwell? That whole talk about the Renans looked like it shook you up a bit.
Yeah. I get this sinking feeling whenever I remember how Danon mages like my family were persecuted and died out. And now, I finally know why that is. But I was thinking, if Renans end up living together with Danons again, then mages won't be such an unusual thing to see on Dana anymore, right? I know it's not as simple as all that, but Danons probably won't be so quick to let their guards down, and there might be Renans who still act superior because of their arts.
It wouldn't surprise me. 300 years of bad blood and prejudice isn't going to be an easy thing to overcome.
Yeah, I know firsthand just how much hatred can take hold in your heart once you let it in. But even so, I was still able to change. And if I can change, so can anyone else. So I was thinking maybe, I don't know, I could use my position as both a Danon and a mage to help bring both sides together.
Renwell.
That great spirit worries me too, though. Dana's will feels so warm and inviting. So why is Rena's will trying to destroy our entire planet?
Now that you mention it, Everett 35 and the other scientists here never really brought that up. Maybe they don't know either.
Maybe. But regardless, at the end of the day, Dana's still our home. There's no way we can let it be destroyed.
We won't. We'll keep it safe no matter what.
I still can't believe it, man.
You're not the only one still trying to make sense of all this. Believe me.
Really? You've never struck me as the type of guy to get hung up on these sorts of things.
Did you forget what happened back in Thistleum? Once my memories started coming back to me, I felt completely and totally lost.
It was really that bad for you?
Yeah, it was. But thanks to Law and everybody else, I remembered that I still had things out there worth fighting for.
Man, I think you might be a better guy than me, Alphen. All I can remember thinking was, when's this guy gonna get his act together?
Law.
I was too worried about repeating the same mistakes I'd made back with my dad, and running away from the truth. That was no way to live. And I've tried to stay strong, my way. But all this talk about other races and the world ending, if I can be honest with you guys, it's just all too much for me to handle right now.
I know this is going to sound strange coming from me, but maybe the key is not to worry too much about the big stuff right now.
Oh?
I used to worry all the time about my thorns, for obvious reasons, but I never really opened up to anyone about them. And when I realized my visions pointed to a threat that was bigger than me, I didn't know what I should do or who to tell. But that's when I finally got it. You guys were all there for me, to teach me what's really important. I just had to open up and listen.
In other words, if you let the big picture stuff get you all muddled up inside, you'll begin to lose sight of what you really care about. Yeah, I think you're right.
The thing that's most important, what I really care about, all I want to do is protect the people that really matter to me, to fight for them. That's good enough, right?
Not everyone is strong enough to fight.
Huh?
It's something your dad told me once when he was still alive. Law, you know you're strong enough to fight, and you're strong enough to protect the people you care about. Forget all the big stuff going on. Just don't lose sight of what you want to protect in the first place. Sound good?
Yeah, I think it does. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulders. I'll fight to protect the people around me. Just like I always have. I think that's best.
I apologize for making you witness that.
You mean hearing the origins of the Renans?
Indeed. It's shocking to have so many things I thought to be indelible fade away in mere seconds.
Even I'm still not sure everything we've heard here is actually true.
Let's not delude ourselves. If what we've heard is a lie, It's a rather elaborate one. I can only imagine that you must have been constantly feeling like this, ever since your memory returned, Alphen. And you as well, Shion. About your thorns, and being a maiden.
That's just part of being alive, don't you think?
Well, to say the least. But enough about me. I'm not concerned for myself. What concerns me is all of the other Renans out there.
When you say the other Renans, you mean the ones that are living on Lenegis or Dana, right?
Correct. Even if we stop the Great Spirit from annihilating Dana, our problems will still remain. Putting aside the untold state that Rena may be in, if we do not truly belong there, we will have to think long and hard about where it is that we wish to return to.
So, I guess your only real choices at this point are to either stay on Lenegis or come down to Dana, huh? And right now, Lenegis might not even be a safe option.
And at the same time, Danans are hardly likely to embrace Renans with open arms. If the issue is forced, things could turn dire. There is, after all, 3 centuries worth of hatred to overcome between us. And the victims of our rule have absolutely every right to feel animosity towards us Renans. Our own circumstances as the aggressors are irrelevant.
I didn't expect the former Lord of Menancia to be so down about people reconciling.
Menancia's fate was there had been backlash over...
But things can still...
Indeed. On that...
Oh?
I wish for you to serve as the one
and...
Yes. However... Is it...
No.
You're too kind.
That's a...
Then I'll ask once again.
You don't...
Thank you.
Well, it sounds like everyone's learning from their past and using it to create a better future for everyone.
What about you, Shion? How do you feel about the origin of the Renans?
To be honest, I'm not really all that shocked, actually. I mean, I might be a Renan in the literal sense, but I've never really felt like one of them. Right now, it's kind of a mystery.
How do you mean?
Because for a really, really long time, all I ever thought about was how I was going to die. Not if or when, but how. I thought I'd die alone. That fate had me in its steely grip. I would have never imagined that I'd be traveling with someone like you, fighting to save Rena and Dana. I mean, how could I have? It's been going on for 300 years. All this tragedy and destruction. When you consider the Helganquil's part in all this, it's been even longer than that. It was Naori's hope that somehow, someone in the future would be able to stop it, before it was too late. How it fell on us, of all people, to heed that call, is a mystery.
I don't think Naori was hoping that we would just stop the world from getting destroyed. She considered me, a Danan, as a real person. And she very much cherished her own people, too. I don't think she wanted the world to be saved, just so they could go back to hurting each other. Oh, maybe this is what she meant.
Huh?
When we were talking to Kisara earlier, about all that stuff like everyone's needing to meet halfway and embrace each other's pain and suffering. She said that the first step down that path was for each of us to put aside our own hatred. That means forgiving other people, even and especially before they forgive you.
Forgiving. So it goes both ways, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't just mean forgiving things that happened in the past either. Conflicts will keep happening. If we have any hope of moving on and building a better future, we have to all learn to forgive each other.
You know, you're right. People can hurt one another without even meaning to. I know that better than most, thanks to these thorns.
It's not going to be easy getting past this pain. But if we can do it, I'm sure there'll come a time when we can all truly understand each other. I'm there with you, Shion. I too want to protect the world we live in, and all the people we care about. I think that's the very least I can do to repay Naori for everything that she did.
Yeah. I want a future that she would feel proud to...
Well,
Yes, I know.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, Dana's still in danger. I don't care who we're up against. We'll kick their ass.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want to know what's on your mind, too.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, then so be it. It's trying to rob us of our entire world, and it's going to take not just our home, but all of existence along with it. That alone is enough to make it our enemy. But it's not only that. One way or another, I think beating the Great Spirit is going to be tied to us saving Xion.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to the vision of destruction we all saw in Lenegis, I take it?
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channeling ceremony showed Naori that vision. And to hear Xion tell it, it's the same one that she sees from her own thorns as well.
Indeed. Xion's thorns are comprised of dark astral energy, the one type which we know is native only to Rena. And if Rena's great spirit is what's behind Dana's pending destruction, then...
Xion's thorns are the Great Spirit? It's not actually on Rena like we thought?
We don't know anything for certain. At the very least, though, I think it's possible her thorns are a part of the Great Spirit.
While the main body resides in Rena.
Xion.
If these thorns really are a part of Rena's Great Spirit, I'm going to go over there and give it a piece of my mind and then some.
The question is, how do we confront it? Suffice it to say, that flower growing out of Rena is enormous, large enough to house the will of an entire planet. The Wedge and Lenegis were both hard enough for us to overcome in their own right. This is an altogether greater challenge for merely 6.
And we only know about the Thorns connection thanks to Naori.
Hevric 35 has been observing the Great Astral Spirit this whole time. It wouldn't ask us to fight it unless it has a plan of some sort. Let's go see what that is.
So if the Sovereign and Maiden were originally boot-up programs for Lenegis, what about now?
Even with the Forbidden Zone in ruins and the Renaissance stolen, Lenegis is functioning fine. If it needed us before, it doesn't appear to now.
First they lumber you with a position you never asked for, then you're discarded like you're nothing? Who the hell do they think they are?
More importantly, who do they think we are? We might not even factor into their list of concerns.
I just hope everyone on Lenegis is safe.
Worst comes to worst, Lenegis is equipped with a large number of starships that people can escape in. As long as the whole satellite doesn't suddenly explode or something, they should be fine.
Wait, explode?
In any case, if we're truly going to make a difference, it's on Rena we're needed, not Lenegis. The people there will be fine, I'm sure of it.
Right.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly do you expect us to do that? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not run throughout its entire body. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where its strength is most densely concentrated. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the Great Spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return to being ordinary astral energy.
And how are we supposed to destroy that core?
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for suppressing and controlling astral energy. Using their powers, the Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign shall wield the power of the Renus Alma to destroy it.
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit, and disperse its energy widely enough to make it difficult to reform.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral spirit?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the Great Spirit, and is therefore our most reliable option.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most optimal among them is so clear.
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die, that we'd save the world without needing to sacrifice her. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the Great Spirit, I want to hear it.
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world. Abandoning it is irrational.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great astral spirit already resides within her. 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to assume direct control of the spirit channeling ceremony. We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and that it now resides in the Maiden.
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used by the great astral spirit to revive itself. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible to fully eradicate the Great Spirit. That is why it is necessary for it to be vanquished only once it is whole. Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile, and will only serve to strengthen it.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy, and that the thorns can be neutralized by placing them in it. If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain the great astral spirit.
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level of the spirit channeling ceremony, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed. I cannot allow it. Its uncertainty is simply too great.
What does that mean for us if you won't allow it?
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be unable to leave here.
Why you?
Fine then. I'd rather stay here and rot than do it your way.
Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy it. If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. But not if it means having to sacrifice one of us in the process. If all you're gonna do is sit back and watch us where it's safe, Then quit ordering us around and shut up!
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may, I shall accede to your demand.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Rena's Alma are my species' greatest achievement. I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our demise by its hands.
But what are we supposed to do about the Renis Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegus.
It is likely that the Renis Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning as a catalyst for it to receive Dana's astral energy.
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit and take it back?
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in the center of Rena, where the Great Spirit's core is located.
So right in the middle of that giant flower, then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse. Even in such a scenario, the energy will disperse, and the Great Spirit will likely not reform.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying it, we'll still be in danger?
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages. It is recommended that you all escape before the final stage.
Man, I wish that thing would tell it to us straight for once.
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar is all. Fix our starship. We're going to Rena.
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. We're not doing it for your sake, or because you told us to. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The end result shall be the same. Repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't worry. I think we're mostly done with him. Is the Renis Alma really our only hope against the Great Spirit? There has to be another way, right?
Shion's Fire Master Core was able to suppress astral energy to prevent it from gaining sentience, right? Couldn't we make use of that somehow?
I'm not sure. In small doses, maybe. And with the amount of energy we're talking about here.
Back in Calaglia, the Blazing Sword was able to take in a whole spirit vessel's worth of energy. If it has the capacity to manage that, it can do this, right?
Except after it absorbed the energy, it ended up releasing it all moments later, remember? Let's not forget, it nearly killed you. Besides, this is the Great Spirit we're talking about, not a paltry vessel. Even if I could use the Master Core, your body wouldn't be able to take the strain of channeling that much energy.
Hevrek 35 didn't mention it, and it did not seem the type to skimp on details. So assuming it's even possible, the chances are slim to none.
You're probably right.
You still thinking about what the scientists told us? About where Renans really come from?
I am, but not for myself.
You're worried about the future of the Renan people.
The fact that our people have been the same this whole time will only give the Danans further reason to resent us.
But you still intend to confront this truth head-on, don't you?
Well, I did declare that I would live my life for the living, and not the dead. Even as I dream of retirement, I shall remain dedicated to the cause.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Now that I think about it, I don't believe I've ever heard you criticize or reproach us Renans even once.
I'm no saint. I have skeletons in my closet too. There was definitely a time when I hated Renans for who they were. I hated them just for being Renan. But you changed that, Dohalim. You gave me an opportunity to see them in a different light. Thanks to your reforms, we were able to stand next to Renans not as slaves, but as equals for the first time in our lives. Of course, I'm sure there were some Renans who still hated us on the inside. But we knew that not all of you were like that. There were those of you who were good, and that was a start. When it comes down to it, Renans are just people. They can be good or bad, just like Danans.
That is, in essence, the heart of your approach, isn't it? That we're all people.
Yeah, it is. When you can pull someone aside and talk to them one-on-one, then you have the chance to come to an understanding. But as soon as you stereotype, that chance goes away, and you stop thinking of them as people that you can relate to.
I understand what you're saying, but we're talking about massive numbers of Renans and Danans alike. Realistically speaking, surely they won't all be able to get along.
Even if we end up butting heads with one person, maybe we'll find better luck among their friends. If we can build a society that works like that, that'll be something worth nurturing and protecting.
So you wish for people to form real bonds and do away with the hierarchy outright? To deal with one another as humans, and nothing more? That's the ideal future you hope to see when this is all over?
Yes, I do. I think it would make for a fine tribute to my brother's legacy. Though, that said, I would be doing it for the people of the future first and foremost. Do you still plan to return to Lenegis when this is over?
Indeed I do. I don't know whether I'll be able to reside in Lenegis proper, however. My first order of business may be to find somewhere to live.
You'll always have a home in Menancia, you know.
As I shall ever keep in mind.
Well, if you ever need a helping hand, don't hesitate to come get me. I'll always be there for you, Doe.
Did you just... Never mind. Thank you, Kisara. I appreciate your patience as I work all this out.
Don't you think that brings down a barrier that used to be between us?
You know, I hadn't actually thought of it that way before. But I do like the sound of it.
Yeah, I think I do too.
Hey, why'd you call me here? Was there something you wanted to talk about?
Well, if everything we've heard about the Great Spirit is true, then we're getting close to our final battle. So I wanted to apologize while I can.
Apologize? For what?
I was being real stupid before, about whether Dana's will had been controlling us and all that. I get why you're angry now. Anybody would be if something they trusted was being questioned. So, I'm sorry, Rinwell. Really. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, Law. Honestly, I think you might have been onto something. Of course you were worried. Who wouldn't be if they found out there might be some invisible force pulling our strings this whole time?
But you really trust Dana's will, don't you? Is it because you can sense it a lot more than the rest of us? Because you can understand it?
Yeah, I think that might be part of it. But I also want to believe it's good.
Believe?
Remember how I used to really resent coming from a family of mages?
Yeah, of course. Because you were always on the run and had to live in hiding.
When we rescued Zephyr and I finally decided to come along with you all, something changed inside me. It was the first time I felt like my powers had any meaning, even if that meaning was only helping you guys fight. Then, when I felt Dana's will, I was overwhelmed by how vast and warm it was. It made me want to believe my powers were made to connect with it. It made me believe I had a bigger purpose.
So that's why you hope it doesn't turn out to be bad. You almost need it to be kind.
Yeah.
Well, alright. Then I promise I'll lay off bad-mouthing it.
You will?
There's no way for me to know for sure one way or the other, right? But you trust it, Rinwell, and that's enough for me. So I'll trust it because you do.
Remember what I said about neither planet's great spirit reaching us here?
Yeah?
That's not quite true. I can feel just a little bit of Rena's inside you and everyone else.
You... what?
I sensed it when we first got here. It's a really small amount, so it doesn't feel like it has a will of its own. But I think that's how Dana's energy probably is too.
So you're saying there's a little bit of Dana's will inside each of us? In a way, doesn't that mean we're all Dana's will?
What?
Well, like you said, unless Dana's energy comes together, it has no will. So if we all have a little bit of Dana's astral energy inside us...
Yeah, maybe...
Hefric 35 might know the answer. But, you know what? I don't need to ask it. My will is my own. I fight for who I want to fight for. That's who I am now. Who I've become. So thanks, Rinwell, for sharing that with me.
Ah.
To be honest, the only reason I was suspicious of Dana's will... well, I mean, it mostly was... I feel like you and I had grown apart lately, and I was worried it was because...
Huh?
Never mind. Nothing. Just forget about it.
Huh? No, what were you saying?
Saying? I don't remember
Come
saying
on.
anything.
Now you won't tell me what you were
No,
thinking?
that's not what I'm saying.
Then spit it out already.
You sure you don't want to get some rest?
Can't. I've got too much on my mind. Especially knowing how close our last battle is. How are you doing, Xion?
Same as you, still trying to absorb everything.
Remember when it was so simple? We were only fighting all the lords on Dana? All of that feels like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Ages and ages ago. Everything that's happened since we first met. So many fights, so much chaos, so many wonderful people.
If I hadn't run into you that day, well, I wouldn't have met all of you. I never would have held the blazing sword or looked for something more. I wouldn't have my memories back. I'd still be a faceless slave, like as not long dead.
Hey, Alphen. I want you to promise me something.
Yeah?
If we can't find the Renis Alma, there's something I want you to do. Like Hevrect 35 said, the only way we can end the Great Spirit for good is to go after both the main body in Rena and the thorns in me. I need you to promise me, Alphen, that if for some reason we can't get the Renis Alma back, you'll use the Blazing Sword to destroy the Great Spirit, and me along with it.
Huh?
It's true the Blazing Sword may not have the strength of the Renis Alma. But it's taken us this far. It's slain lords and beasts. At the very least, it has to be worth a try.
You can't be serious. Have you forgotten everything
Listen,
that we've...
the Great Spirit isn't just our problem. It's a threat to our entire world. Renans and Danans alike. We don't know what's going to happen when we face it, but we need to be prepared for anything. We can't second-guess ourselves when the time comes. I promise you, I'm not planning on going anywhere. I'm prepared to fight with absolutely everything I've got. But if it comes down to it, I need you to be prepared too.
Okay. But you should know that I'm not going to give up on you, Shion. I'm going to fight this until the very end. I hope you can forgive me for that.
Alphen. Okay, I understand. And I'll forgive you.
Thank you, Shion.
So it's a promise then?
Yeah, it's a promise.
I remember how I felt the first time you touched me. My thorns made any contact a mistake no one would ever make twice. After they'd seen what could happen, fear would always linger behind their eyes. In my entire life, I never had someone willingly reach out to me. But when you reached out to me and gently took my hand, you didn't react at all. It was so easy for you. I don't have words for the shock I felt in that moment.
That's because I couldn't feel pain back then.
Even once you could, though, you still chose to keep reaching out to me. And when you did, I felt this warmth that I had never known before. But still, I hate having to see you suffer through it every time you do.
You won't have to worry about that for much longer.
You think so?
I do, because Shion,
No. You can tell me once my thorns are gone. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Everybody get enough rest? We ready for this?
Yeah, we should probably get moving.
Agreed. Can't stand around waiting all day.
Our task is relatively straightforward. We need only descend down to Rena, defeat the Great Spirit, and restore stability to both worlds.
We're fighting for a new future for both Dana and Rena.
Right. We've come this far. We will save our worlds. That's a promise.
Then let's go, everybody. We've got one last wall to tear down.
Repairs on your starship are complete. Everything is in working order.
Is that you, Hevrek 35? You can see us from where you are?
I can. I can see anywhere within the bounds of Dake Faisal.
Sounds like someone's a peeping Tom.
Maybe we should give Hevrect 35 a break. It has been stuck in this tiny facility for a very, very long time.
I have unlocked all functions on your starship. You can now make use of its warp drive.
Warp drive? Wait, you mean like what the Red Women used on us? What brought us here?
It's possible that the Red Women may have found a way to activate it on the starship. They are Helganquil, after all.
Using the warp drive, you should be able to breach Rena's atmosphere without being detected.
Wait, should?
You'll need to be careful. Due to the force field surrounding Rena, the ship will be unable to go any further than the surface of the planet.
So, once we reach the shell, it appears we'll have to infiltrate the core by foot. Understood.
We gotta go all the way down just walking?
Will all the Helganquil go back to normal once we defeat the Great Spirit? I have a strange feeling we're going to have to fight them before this is all over.
The extinction of my people is inevitable at this stage. As such, it would be illogical to risk the success of the mission in a vain attempt to save my kind.
We understand.
Can't that thing lighten up a bit? Everything it says seems to be about what's illogical.
Well, come on, Doe.
Hold up, did you just...
You heard the lady. Get going.
I have one last question.
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are well past your predicted life expectancy. Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number, as her function should have been rendered unnecessary. Despite this, the two of you continue to exist. Why?
We exist because others have entrusted this to us. Over the years, many people have come together and sworn to see this through to the end.
You mean it is because of multiple chance interactions? The likelihood of such events is statistically improbable. Why have you two continued to persist under these conditions?
It's hard to explain. To be honest, I don't think it's something an observer could understand. All right, time to get back on the Fall Knights.
It would appear that our Helganquil host really has fulfilled its end of the bargain.
You know what that means. Time to go to Rena.
I guess this means we should give that warp drive a spin.
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is... that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, it went after Dana.
So arresting. This world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude, until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena.
A hollowed ocean as far as the eye can see. What do you think would happen if we fell in?
What do you mean, what would happen? You'd drown, wouldn't you?
Come to think of it, I don't believe I've heard of someone ever trying. Perhaps you'd like the glory of being the first?
Nah, I'll pass.
This is essentially a world-sized Renan graveyard. Are you proposing to disturb the dead slumber just to satisfy your curiosity, Law?
No, because I said I passed.
Taking an interest is understandable, but let's not forget where we are. This place deserves our respect.
Looks like we're not going to be hearing the end of this one for a while.
You'd think I was already snorkeling in it or something. So the idea is to seal the Great Spirit inside the Renas Alma using the Sovereign and Maiden's power. But just how do we do that exactly?
I'm guessing it won't be as easy as holding a spirit channeling ceremony at our leisure.
I already had wielded astral energy once 3 centuries ago. As for suppressing her thorns, Shion's had a lifetime's experience. The problem isn't just our enemy's strength. It's that it's sentient, too. And you can bet anything you like it's not going to just sit back and let us destroy it.
In other words, we need to find some way to weaken it in advance. The Great Spirit, that is.
Back when Shion's thorns flew out of control, we were able to deal with them directly. If this is their host, they should be even more corporeal here.
If that's the case, it should make them easier to attack at least. And if we can manage to divert enough energy away from the spirit's core, even temporarily,
we might just be able to weaken it enough to steal the Renas Alma, which we can then use to seal it away forever. It won't be easy, but it's our only shot. Time to buckle up. Question for you. Let's say, knock on wood, everything turns out for the best.
What'll the world be like? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of this, do you really think everything will be that different?
A lot will have to change, that's for sure. The world will have to adjust to so much. My only worry is if those changes turn out to be merely skin deep.
What do you mean?
It's well and good putting an end to Renan rule. But if it just turns the tables, it's all for naught.
That's true. Just as bad if the Danans started pressing their own.
Renans, Danans, astral art users, mages. The world is full of labels used to divide and separate people.
If only we could see differences like that for what they are. No different to someone having a musical talent or being good with their hands. Not differences so much as characteristics.
It will take someone in power to set an example. But with time, people will follow. And then, perhaps one day...
There will no longer be any need for the example. It will have become second nature.
That's where we come in. We can set the example. Imagine it. A world where magic and astral arts are used to help people. Where that's the norm rather than the exception.
Yeah, you're right, Rinwell. Why wait for somebody else? We can show them ourselves.
I wonder what Helganquil civilization was like at its zenith.
I can imagine that'd be something you'd take an interest in.
There's no question it must have been advanced, like none either world has ever seen. We could surely stand to learn a thing or two from such a people.
I get that you're itching to delve into its history, but we've got bigger fish to fry right now.
Put a pin in it, and you can do all the research you want when you retire.
I can think of worse things than a retirement dedicated to research. As for whether Rena is amenable to an aging specimen...
It's a little early to be giving it serious thought just yet.
A man can dream, though. A man can dream.
Oh, we didn't say there's anything wrong with dreaming.
In your case, Dohalim, dreams have a habit of spiraling into something else.
You'll need to stay with us for now, though. You're too helpful to let retire.
Why do I feel this is less of a compliment and more of an ultimatum?
Just a friendly suggestion.
Looks like we've warped into that pit of astral energy.
Hey! Hey, I just realized something!
Is this about dinner last night? I didn't realize those ingredients were off.
What? No! I mean... Wait, you fed us rotten food?
Rinwell, the point.
Oh, yeah, right. So I was thinking about those armored soldiers we've seen. There are regular Renans inside them, right?
Yeah, they're designed to make whoever's wearing them stronger. At least, I think that's the idea.
Right. So it kind of begs the question then, why are they made so huge?
I don't know, makes them more intimidating, I guess? Or maybe all that tech wizardry inside takes up a lot of space.
You don't think it's weird how the armored soldiers are the exact same height as the Helganquil?
Can't say I'd ever noticed it till now. And?
Connect the dots, Law!
Okay, let me get this straight. You think the armored suits might have originally been designed to allow Renans to work alongside the Helganquil?
Huh. But if that's true, what would that mean?
It would mean... just that, I guess. But still, don't you think it's kind of interesting?
Not hugely. Hey, Kisara, well, I've got you. What's on tonight's menu? Because I was thinking, maybe meat?
Get him, Hootle.
What did I do?
Oh, now you want to listen. Keep pecking, Hootle!
Ow, ow, ow! Seriously, what the hell? You know, guys, when you think about it, we've taken out a lot of Zoogles. Like, a whole lot.
You can say that again. If one thing's for certain in this world, it's that wherever we go, we'll always end up bumping into them.
Isn't it weird that they're still so plentiful? You don't think the Renans have, like, a ranch where they breed them, do you?
Certainly in all of my years, I've never heard of them constructing such a massive facility on Dana, let alone up in Lenegis.
The only thing I can think of, then, is that the feral ones must be reproducing on their own.
There's also no organized effort on our part to hunt them down, so it's difficult to fully exterminate them.
Exterminate them? Whoa, don't you think that's maybe a little harsh?
What do you mean?
Zeugles originally used to be living creatures native to Dana and Rena, right? Being genetically modified isn't their fault.
You're right. Zeugles were only created because of us Renans. We altered the original creatures to suit our own ends.
First, people made Zeugles, and then we let them go. And now we're...
I hope we...
It's a nice thought.
Aside from the strays that have gone wild,
If we had distinct...
Well, I guess...
Helganquil!
Guess they don't need their Red Woman disguises anymore.
Wait. Can you understand us?
It's no use. We're not going to get through to them.
So they really are being controlled. In that case, we've got no choice.
I knew there was something off here!
they're not pulling punches. We have no choice but to beat them at their own game.
Okay, here I go!
You want to play? Come at me! I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare to Malisa!
Raging Guardian! In here!
Explosive ring!
Hurricane down!
Demon
Alright,
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
Here, let me help.
First
Demon
aid!
Fang!
Annihilation!
Demon
I think we can get through this.
Don't let up until it's over.
Who said anything about letting off?
This one's mine!
Explosive ring!
Do it!
Remember!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Well done! Here's the Evo! Magic Gazelle! Freeze laser! This'll come in handy! Annihilation!
Try this!
Hear me! Flame of fury!
Explosive ring!
Glacial spear!
Demon Fang!
Here's the Evo!
An Astral Art?
That's my cue!
Demon Fang! Shut him down! Demon Fang!
Make it corruption! Do it!
Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Alphen,
I can't forgive them for what they've done, but I hate killing them. They don't even know why they're fighting. How does that even make them any different from the Danan slaves?
Perhaps. However, if we don't make a choice, the guilt of not doing anything will be that much worse.
Yeah, I know. I hate for it to be like this.
I wonder if we're going to get attacked again.
If we lose heart now, this whole mission is over. Have to stay the course.
I thought there'd be more dirt and rocks and stuff underneath the hollowed ocean, but it's all artificial.
I would imagine they're remnants left behind by the Helganquil, seeing as there's little actual land remaining.
It's incredible. Do you think it stretches all the way down to the center of the planet?
Hey, these guys built Lenegus, remember? They probably did this in a weekend.
If they had the power to create things like this, did they really only use those immense capabilities to serve the Great Spirit? Or rather, was that the only use the Great Spirit let them... We haven't seen anyone here except Helganquil. Looks like this place really is their home planet.
The true citizens of Rena. What a shame that they have become nothing more than puppets to the Great Spirit. To think of the promise their accomplishments once held. They had the potential to be great indeed.
Do you think we could have got along with them? You know, if we had met under different circumstances. Like
all of us, you mean? I suppose...
I think we may have...
You and Alphen both share an optimism. On the contrary, I should like to take a leaf...
Just look at this. In the past 300...
Regarding the also,
I can understand.
What do you mean?
And that...
Yeah, there must be...
Borrow one...
If it worked...
you know what he's like.
Don't get careless!
Don't tell me!
I'll heal you all! Going in!
No further!
Healing circle!
I'm knocked up!
Hurricane of correction! Right! Annihilation!
You!
Holy Land! Hurricane Foot! Gemini
I'm on it! Leave the ensnaring to me.
Yeah! And the pummeling to me!
I'm all set up! Hey, drinking order!
Come and get it!
By the rolling door! Here's
This
another
one's mine.
I'm on a
roll now.
Sleep now! Don't fall! Let's
Come
get
and
you all
get it.
tucked away! Hurricane Land!
Burn in hell!
Too much to handle?
Look sharp! Here I come!
Here!
I'm knocked up! Demon Fang! Look sharp! Explosive ring!
Inferno!
Demon Fang!
I'm all stuffed up!
Try this!
Sparkling stars of light!
Explosive ring!
Rain down here! Purify all!
Demon! It's go time!
This one's
Try this!
mine! Lunar corruption!
Explosive ring!
Meteor storm! It's in the wind! Air thrust! Flaming meteor! Healing circle! Illuminate the dark! Come forth! Holy glimpse! Holy land! Mega ray! This one's mine! Reload! Illuminate the dark!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was useful.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look closer. Thunderblade!
This could be useful.
We're in for... long slog with this one.
Double demon ring!
Lightning condemned! Thunderblade! Lightning condemned! Thunderblade! Magic is in! Thunderblade! Blah blah blah! Thunderblade! Blah blah blah! Thunderblade! You get it, Jess! Thunderblade! Blah blah blah! Thunderblade!
Sword Ring Alpha!
Strike!
Didn't even break a sweat.
I wonder how the Renans avoided being mind-controlled like the Helganquil. Do you think it might have something to do with the fact that they were originally Danans?
I'd say it's likely. Which is pretty ironic when you think about it.
Ironic?
The Renans have committed grave injustices against the Danans. But it was all of their own volition, not because they were being controlled. Now, it turns out they themselves were once Danans too.
Which must mean that the root of their evil isn't the Great Spirit, but something inherent in all of us. Our free will.
Now hang on, though. It was that same free will that allowed Xion and Dohalim to choose to fight alongside us. Without it, we wouldn't have been able to beat hatred and forge all those connections we've made. Free will is what saved us, right?
Law's entirely right. In any case, it certainly can't hurt to look on the bright side every now and then.
Yeah. Where there's hope, there's a...
What'd he say?
He said...
Is this a dead end?
It appears this whole room functions as an elevator. That apparatus there is likely what's used to control it.
What the? Where did they come from?
Less worry, more action. Concentrate. Where are you going?
I can shatter any steel!
Demon Fang!
Right here. I got you.
Got fire!
I got it. Let's let a marksman handle it.
Look sharp!
Lightning Tiger Blade!
More Sukos?
Keep calm and take them down. Hurricane strike. Hurricane strike.
Explosive ring!
Annihilation.
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight!
Demon. It's time to finish this. Die. Consuming wildfire. Reinforcements incoming. Not a problem.
Demon Fang! Try this! Explosive ring!
That'll bring you down. Eat dirt. Not much longer to go.
Come on, one final push!
Let's do this together.
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone.
Did it!
Yeah. Nice technique.
Here I come! Get hit down! Try this! Explosive ring!
Hurricane
Demon Fang!
on guard.
Not today!
I'll heal you all.
Demon Fang!
Now.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone. Here's a
Here
reinforcement.
I come! Thanks!
Holy land. That'll bring you down.
Try this!
Mine.
Infernal Torrent!
Lunar
Demon Fang!
Dance in the wind. Gemini Alpha. Hurricane strike.
Explosive
Make it break.
ring!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alpha.
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang!
On guard. Make it break.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone.
My turn! Here I come!
Here. Radiant.
Mirage!
Make it break.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone. Here I
My
go.
turn!
Go.
Mirage! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Demon Fang!
Here's a healing arm. Hurricane strike.
Explosive ring!
Running into the fray.
Demon Fang!
Gemini Aqua. Look sharp. Lightning
Good!
Look sharp.
Struck! Burn!
Burning strike.
Demon Fang!
Now.
Chill!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Here's a healing
Demon
arm.
Fang!
Lightning conduct.
Try this!
Illuminate the
Explosive ring!
Radiant light. Here.
Demon Fang!
Damn it. Back into the fray. Lightning strike. Make it break. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Lightning
More?
Hurricane strike.
Demon Fang!
Illuminate the blaster rod. That'll bring you down. Is it in the sky? Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
There. Go. This way here than you look.
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone. Here I go.
My turn! You're mine! The flame inside me yearns to be let free! Demon Fang! Eat dirt! Demon Fang! Try this!
Now.
Explosive ring! Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone.
My turn! No escape! Mirage!
This one's mine.
Demon Fang! Try this!
Astral energy.
Say no more!
I think I'm getting stronger.
Even in such a harsh environment as this. There are still creatures here?
You think they're native to Rena? Or could they be Zoogle somehow?
Whatever they are, they're dangerous. Watch yourselves around them. You think that pit stretches all the way to Rena's core?
If that's true, and if we go down, we should find the Great Spirit at the...
I have a bad feeling about this. Right
No
here!
further.
I got it! Lightning strike! Glacial spear! Here's evil! These things really get on my nerves.
No escape! Demon Fang! We got fire!
I've got it! Let a marksman handle it!
All yours! Demon Fang! Try this! I owe you one! Thanks, Shia.
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better. Demon Fang!
Magic and never miss! I'm
Hurricane Flame!
Look
Demon
sharp!
Fang!
Going now!
In an instant! Impact Block! Now!
Hurricane Field! We got the
You're mine! It's time!
That'll bring you down!
Demon Fang!
You get the
Try this!
Hurricane
Explosive ring!
Lightning strike!
Demon Fang!
Sweet green! Hurricane Flight!
I can't imagine what we do without you, Renwell.
Who, me? That's a little much, don't you think?
I'm serious. You're a lifesaver.
Demon Fang!
Oh, too shy to come over!
Take this!
Here, let me help!
You're finished! Demon Fang!
Hurricane
Try
Flight!
this!
Lightning strike!
Explosive ring!
This one's mine!
Demon
Make it
Fang!
rain!
Kisara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Well, am I improving?
Tremendously. The speed and precision of your aim is simply unmatched.
I had no idea you were watching me so close.
Brace yourself! This one's tough! Demon Fang! Try this!
Hurricane Flight! You want me? Come get me!
Demon Fang!
Hurricane Flight! Healing Circle!
Not today!
Thank you for all your help.
Try
Please,
this!
don't mention it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang! We did it!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improvement.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
Can't get out of this! Demon Fang! Try this! Explosive ring!
Now! Piercing! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Demon Fang! Stop! Demon Fang!
In the wind!
Shockwave Strike! Crush! Dazzle! I'll burn it all! Ah! Flaming Pillar! Fire!
I'll heal you
Demon
all!
Fang!
Thunder Field! Piercing Roar!
I feel sprightlier than before.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
This is bad, right?
Yes, Alvin. Very bad.
I don't feel so good. Demon Fang! It's too much!
Too heavy. That's not even fair.
Okay, here I go. Demon Fang!
I'm ready to
Try harder!
Raging Storm!
Shockwave Strike! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Demon Fang!
Oh, sparkling stars of light!
Demon Fang! Great! Now!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was improvement.
No, I mean, you're even better than ever.
I've never seen Xion actually look flustered.
You made me angry. That was a bad idea.
Sonic Rush!
Shooting Star!
Demon Fang!
Going in! Chronicon Field!
Eternal Devastation! I'm nearly done for.
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare Demolisher!
Will this...
Light up the dark!
Lightning Condemned! Thunder Blade! Dyer's attachment! Magic
Thank you for all your help.
Please, don't
Not
mention
today!
it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
Thunder Blade! Blah, blah, blah!
Sonic Rush!
Thunder Blade! You get the gist! Thunder Blade! You get the gist! Thunder Blade! Blah, blah, blah! Holy Lance! I'll fix far beyond the darkest! Far beyond the darkest sky! Let's keep up the pressure! Fires of sharpness! By the power of God! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Prepare to be sealed!
One more!
Take this!
Here's another! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! What would I do without you? Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest...
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Molotov!
Here, let's help! Fires of
Ignite!
Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Time to die! Back into the fray!
Shooting star!
It's time!
Piercing roar!
Eternal devastation!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Xion, astral energy! Full throttle!
Lady Fortune must truly be watching over me.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Take this!
Sharpness!
I'm gone!
Hurricane strike!
Explosive ring!
Here!
Demon Fang!
Explosive ring! Lightning strike!
Prepare to be sealed!
Holy land!
I'm not done!
Make it rain!
More! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade!
There's more where that came from.
My word. This must be the work of Providence.
What now?
It means destiny. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration, though. I've got a really bad feeling about this. Thunderblade! Going on this Fires of passion!
Ignite!
Healing star! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest sky! Thanks for the healing. Watch yourself, okay? Yeah, you too. Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Shooting star!
Burn!
Glacial punch! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Take this!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky!
A charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop.
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Dragon Form!
Shooting star!
I carve through armor!
Aw, too shy to come over? Here,
Shooting star! Fire magic is there! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Far beyond the...
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
this one's mine.
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Be still!
Ready and real. I'm ready to go.
You're mine!
Make it rain.
Astral energy!
Say no more!
Remember to tell me if you need healing.
I expect you'll be... These structures don't look like anything built by the Renans, or even what we saw in the Forbidden Zone.
Perhaps this is the true architectural style of the Helganquil. Or perhaps the opposite, given their situation.
You mean like how some places favor building stuff with stone, while others rely on wood?
That's an interesting way of looking at it. I'll have to inquire with Hevrecht 35 about it sometime.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Ignite! Demon Fang! Try this! That buzzing is driving me mad! Come one, come all!
Flying freaks! Why can't they just sit still?
Sion, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than
Take
done.
this!
Make it rain! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Elfin!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you! Here I go! Do it! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Here, let me
My
help.
turn!
Ready to go! First aid! Strike!
Demon
Now!
Fang! Chill!
This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
Hold up! Is this as valuable as I think it is?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Eat dirt!
One more! Hurricane Blaster Ray! Lightning strike!
Explosive
Glacial
resistance!
Spear! Piercing! Insects to
In a
stay on the
bind?
ground! Hurricane Freeze Lancer! Look sharp!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours truly!
Explosive ring! Demon Fang!
Going in! Now!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block! My turn! Mirage! Demon Fang! Flame inside me! Yours to be let free! Demon Fang!
Prepare to be sealed. Actually, perhaps bound is more appropriate.
Everyone still in one piece?
Yep. I barely worked up a sweat.
Brace yourself! This one's tough!
Give a heartbeat! Glacial Spear!
Ignite!
Prepare to be sealed! Ground and pound!
Explosive ring!
Igneous discharge!
Now I can let loose!
This one's
In a
mine!
bind?
Demon Fang!
Do it! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alpha!
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you!
Try this! Explosive ring!
Time to shine!
This one's all mine! You picked the wrong fight! Demon
Do it!
Fang! Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
Those thorns.
I'm not letting them get in our way!
This'll make us even more formidable.
Brace yourself! This one's tough! Double Demon Fang!
Archer Fire complete!
Dragon Swarm!
Thunderblade!
Sonic Thrust!
Healing
Double
Circle!
Demon! It can hide itself? Amazing!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare Demolition!
Going in! Lightning Condense! Inferno! Thunderblade! Healing Circle! I owe you, Sion. Healing is what my arts do best. All mine can do is cause havoc and destruction. Everyone,
We're
get
interrupted.
back! It's too dangerous! Healing Circle! Air thrust! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Lunar Corruption!
It's on!
Lunar Flash! Shooting Star! Illuminate! Let me come in! First aid!
the word defeat.
Sorry.
You'll pay for that! Not today!
Inferno! Raging Cascade!
Demon Fang! Pierce through!
How about
Double Demon Fang!
Lunar Corruption! Flaming Meteor!
Destruction!
Here's a healing... Here goes! This one's mine! Raging Cascade! Spread! Here's evil! Far beyond the darkest skies! I'm all upon thee!
Can't end here!
Thank you for all your help.
Please, don't mention it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
I can carve through armor!
Denied! Here's a healing arm! What this? Fires of passion! Courses and flames! Sharpness!
I'm in trouble! Call a doctor! If there was one, we would have called it.
That's a good Flame of fury!
I'm on it!
Burning
Easter!
Sweet Dragon! I'm all Black Storm! Flaming Meteor!
The enemy wields arts too.
You'll soon see about that! I can handle it! Far beyond the darkest sky! Magic Gazelle!
Shield this one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get behind me!
Good! I'll leave it to you!
Do it!
Remote!
Astral energy!
Say no more!
This, I can become even stronger!
I have a bad feeling about this.
No further! Okay, here I go! Try this! Explosive ring! Demon Fang!
Lunar blast!
Explosive ring!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Demon Fang! Explosive ring!
Ready to go!
Burn in hell! Demon Fang! Prepare to be sealed!
Gemini Aqua!
Demon Fang! Try this!
In a vine! Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Demon Fang!
Freeze blade!
Demon Fang! I owe you one!
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry.
Far beyond the darkest sky!
Demon Fang!
All upon thee!
It's on! Demon Fang!
I never miss! This one's mine! Lightning strike!
We did it!
As impressive as always.
And here I hope there is
Now! No,
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! That firepower of yours is really something.
I could say the same.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Going in!
The earth lost in pain.
Burn!
Shield
Let loose! Try this!
Glacial spear! Pierce evil!
Demon Fang!
Explosive
ring!
Light astral!
Can't get out of this!
I'll heal you all! Make it rain!
Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! I can feel my power growing! Okay, here I go.
Thank you for all your help.
Please, don't hesitate.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
Lightning condensation! Thunderblade! Into the shadows! Watch and
Dragon Swarm! Now or never.
far beyond the darkest sky! I'll heal you all! Inferno Crossing!
Burn in hell!
Healing circle! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon
No further! Rising Wyvern!
Hurricane Swipe!
Mirage!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Flaming
Meteor! Wave Lancer! Shooting star! Fire Acid! Hurricane Swipe!
Yours to be led
Far
free!
beyond the darkest
Now or never!
Now where was I?
Flash! Sonic Thrust!
Piercing
Sword Rain
Shooting
Alpha!
star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon
Rising
thee!
Wyvern! Soaring Light Spear! Mirage!
Shooting star!
No further!
Shooting star! Far
I
beyond
have
the
no
darkest
limits.
sky! I call upon thee!
This one's all mine!
Will this help? Shooting star! Blah blah blah! Healing circle!
Okay, here we go. Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Lunar corruption!
What? What the hell is going on?
Fall back, Alpha. We'll take point here.
Thanks. You require me to impose on you. No further! Flew away!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Demon Fang! You picked the wrong fight!
Piercing roar!
Shooting star! If you get the
Be
drift,
still!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
illuminate the dark! Transform holy land! Kisara frozen!
Hammer!
Haha! Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look who's in a bright and shiny mood.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Confiscated! Lightning condensed! Annihilation! Mega ray! Fire
Armor won't save you!
Far beyond the healing art! I call upon...
Demon Fang!
Crescent moon!
Demon Fang!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Far
Yeah!
beyond the darkest
Nice
sky!
technique!
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno! Demon
Far
Fang!
beyond the darkest
Burn!
sky! I call upon
Lethal
thee!
fire!
Here, let me help.
Rising Falcon!
Shooting
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Right.
This one is mine. Far beyond the darkest sky! Astral energy!
Say no more!
I'll heal you all!
Wind!
Healing circle!
Time to start! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone! Good to know my training is paying off.
Whoa, this is amazing.
You always get excited when... when you find something good.
We should hurry and get this stuff processed.
Brace yourself! This one's tough! No further! Double demon fire!
Requires complete focus. Fire's attack.
This one's all mine!
Far beyond the darkest side. I call upon you.
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malata!
Far beyond expert coming through.
Rising Wyvern!
Hurricane strike. What would I do without you?
Thank you for all your help.
Please, don't mention it.
I'm glad to know someone's got my back.
Demon Fang! I can't do without this pain!
Piercing roll. Far beyond
Take this! Can't get out of this! This one's all mine!
crossing.
Ignite!
Shooting star. Far beyond the darkest sky. I call upon thee. Hurricane shooting star. Flame of fury.
This one keeps charging us!
That's what my shield's for. Get the honey!
Got it! I'll leave it to you!
Shooting star. Far beyond the darkest. Far beyond the darkest sky.
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Far beyond the darkest
Burn in
sky.
hell!
I call upon thee.
Rising Warfare!
Shooting star. Fires of passion. Magic is
No further! Demon Fang!
far beyond the darkest sky.
Demon Fang!
I don't know what I'd do without you.
Shooting star. Perhaps now isn't the time.
I really don't.
Far beyond the darkest sky.
Time to let it rip!
Slash.
Burn!
Lunar blast. Shooting star. Far beyond the darkest sky. I call upon thee. Alpha. Astral energy.
Say no more!
The heavens must be smiling.
We're in for a long slog with this one.
Now or never!
Hurricane fire to the passion. Forces this flame. Sharpness. Lightning condemned. Going in. Thunderblade. Lightning condemned. Thunderblade.
Turn up this one's mine!
Lightning condemned. Thunderblade. Lightning condemned. Thunderblade. Magic is down. Lightning condemned. Thunderblade. Lightning condemned. Thunderblade.
I think we can get through this.
Don't let up until it's over!
Who said anything about letting off?
Let me help.
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Will this help? On guard.
Here I come!
Hurricane
Be still!
Flaming thrust! Thanks for the healing. Watch your back, okay? Yeah, you too.
Be still! Can't get out of this!
Lightning orb!
Totally! In an instant! Impact block!
Am I on a roll or what?
Well, look... Who's in a bright and shiny mood?
This won't be easy. Don't be such a pessimist.
Not today! Demon Fang! Explosive rings!
This one's free! Why can't they just sit still?
Shield, can you take care of them?
No sooner said than done.
Demon Fang!
Leave the ensnaring to me. Yeah, and the pummeling to me.
Demon Fang! Try this! Demon Fang!
Armor won't save you.
That'll bring you down.
It's time! Demon Fang! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Did it!
Yeah! Nice technique! Make it rain!
Reload! Light burst forth!
Radiant Genesis! Whew. Thank goodness we won.
We're in for a long slog with this one!
Not today!
Hurricane
Demon Fang! Try this! Explosive ring! Demon Fang! Demon! Got flyers!
I've got this. Let a marksman handle it.
Demon Fang! All yours!
Shield that here, let me help!
First aid!
Anything in armor is all mine.
Dance in the wind!
Demon Fang!
Into the shadow! Get you off. I'm going. You got company!
Too fast!
Stand back. I'll trip it up.
Demon Fang!
Radiant
No
Light!
further!
Here!
This one's all mine!
Let's go!
Explosive ring!
Meteor! Inferno
Reload!
Demons descend!
Flashing Fang!
Demon Fang!
I can't heal you forever!
Be still!
This one's mine!
Here I come! Crush! You're finished!
Make it rain! This ends now!
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Alvin!
It's time to end this battle!
Another cycle! Holy Land!
We managed to pull through.
I've got a really bad feeling about this.
In a bind.
Glacial Spear! Here's evil!
Explosive ring! Demon Fang! Try this! Explosive ring! Any more of this and I'll burn out! Demon Fang!
I owe you, Dion. Healing is what my life is at.
In an instant! Impact Block!
I'm pretty worn out.
Want to rest up for a bit?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Not today!
Radiant Inferno! Lightning condemned!
Megasonic thrust!
Lightning condemned! Careful! He has some kind of camouflage! Thunderblade!
I'm right behind you!
Healing circle!
Rising Wyvern!
Lightning condemned! Thunderblade! Illuminate the dark! I'll take it from here. Let's see how you handle this! Deus Roar!
Here, let me help.
Lightning condemned! First aid! Thunderblade!
I'm not done!
Arts require complete... Air thrust!
Do without this pain!
Crazy cascade! Glacial Spear! Here's evil! Hurricane Blade! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Burn in hell!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call
Rising Wyvern! Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
far beyond the darkest sky!
No further!
Lunar Blast!
You make me angry! That was a bad idea!
Looking good!
I call upon Demon Cleanser!
Demon Fang!
I'll heal you all!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
should do it!
Shield and mace!
Be still!
Illuminate the dark!
Demon Fang!
I owe you one for that. I'll stop its charge!
Thanks, Kisara!
Hurricane strike! Lightning strike!
Take this!
Lightning Hurricane! Seal! I can do this! I just have to get it together! We're right here! We can help you!
Shion's right. You have us to lean on.
You're right! Thanks!
Going in!
Astral Arts?
That's my cue!
Shut him down!
Let's keep up the pressure! Lightning meteor!
Be still! I'll burn it all! Flaming pillar! Fire! Demon Fang!
Magic is in! I can do this all
It's
day!
time.
Spirit Flame! Reload!
No further!
Here's a healing art!
Leave the aid to me! Now you've gone and ticked me off!
Light Astral Arts! Raging Cascade!
Demon
Now!
Fang! Totally! In an instant! Impact Block!
With this, I can become... I'm even stronger!
Brace
Here
yourself!
goes!
This one's tough! You picked the wrong fight!
Hurricane
Lightning condenser! One
I'm not done!
Fusion roar! Fire capacity! Quick display! Surface! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Switch to offense!
Megasonic Thrust!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky!
No further!
Tiger blade!
Shooting star!
I'll take you all on! Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Far beyond the darkest sky!
Look
I
sharp!
call upon thee!
Going in!
Try this!
One more! Inferno!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
This one's mine!
In a bind?
Switch for offense!
Searing flame! Reload!
This one's
Out
all
of
mine!
arrow!
Hurricane
Shooting star! Loud magic! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Be careful not to overdo it.
I'm sorry. I'll do better.
Shooting star! Lightning flame! Reload! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon...
I can carve through armor!
Take it!
One more!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
This one is mine!
Prepare to be seized! You picked the wrong fight!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Blending Blast!
Shooting star!
This isn't ideal.
Here's a healing art!
In a bind?
Inferno! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Anything in armor is all mine!
Annihilation! Shooting star! Illuminate the
It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire!
Illuminate the dark! Come forth, holy glimmer!
You picked the wrong fight!
Holy land! Far beyond the
Shield
darkest
and
sky!
Fang!
I call upon
Demon Fang!
thee!
And just like that, I'm back in it.
Start by holding the front line.
No sooner said than done.
Take this!
Do it!
Kisara, frozen!
Hammer!
I can feel my power growing! A design? of this equipment is really interesting.
You must really like it, Alphen.
This one's tough, but we have no choice.
Let me know if you need healing.
Switch to offense. Fires by the
Sharpness! Lightning condemned! Thunder flame! Reload! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Searing flame! Reload! Ground and shooting star!
Take this!
Healing circle!
In a vine?
Flaming meteor!
Amazing.
Why'd you heal me?
To stop you dying?
Right.
I call upon thee! Annihilation! Shooting star!
By the
Power of blah 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 magic!
Oh, too
Thunder blade! Mega ray!
let me help.
Blah blah blah! Holy land! Radiant! Here!
How do you like being pounded into shape?
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Prepare to be sealed!
Flame of fury! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Freeze lancer! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Standing form.
Annihilation! Shooting star! Flame of fury!
No further!
Glacial spear.
Glacial fire! Tiger blade! Lion cowl! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Hear me! Flame of fury! Burning strike! Shooting star! Fire here evil! Magic is there! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Glacial spear.
Pierce evil! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
You require help.
Healing circle! Shooting star!
Take this!
I'll cover you. I owe you one for that.
Recover!
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare Demolisher!
Here,
Illuminate the dark! First aid!
I don't feel so hot.
You should sit this one out then.
And miss all the fun. No way.
Here, let me help! Lightning! Condemned! Strike! Thunder! Lightning condemned! Thunder! Let's do it! Alphen! Astral energy!
Say no more.
They really made us work for that one.
I won't forgive you.
Illuminate the dark! Holy glimmer!
You picked the wrong fight. Demon Fang!
Hurricane Lunar corruption! Raging cascade! Gemini Aqua! Seal!
Take this!
This will come in handy!
No further!
Sharpness! Inferno! One more time!
Look sharp!
Dragon Swarm!
Healing circle!
Double Demon Fang!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Double Demon Fang!
Here goes!
Destruction!
Shooting star! Far beyond...
Coming through! Ha! Now! Scarlet Inferno!
Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Here, let me help! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Reload! Shooting star! Magic is here! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Standing form.
I call upon thee!
Severing Wing!
Shooting star!
Can't get out of this!
Charge like that could easily be fatal.
Just as well, I'm here to stop it.
Take this!
Searing flame! Reload! Shooting star! Searing far beyond the darkest sky!
Will this help?
I call upon thee!
Ignite!
Healing circle! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! Annihilation! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest sky!
Now or never.
Shooting star!
Take this!
Far beyond the darkest sky! Healing circle! Fires of passion! Magic is there! Sharpness! Flame of fury! Gotcha!
The flame
Burning far beyond the darkest
let
sky!
free.
I
You
call
made me
upon thee!
angry. That was a bad idea.
I'm out of ammo.
You're mine! Any more of this and I'll burn out.
Shooting star! Back into the fray! Searing flame!
Finish it!
Alphen! Astral energy!
Say no more.
feel sprightlier than before.
This one's tough!
Mine. Right here. I got it.
Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Demon Fang! Try it! Explosive ring!
This one's mine.
Demon Fang!
Pesky airborne scoundrels!
Sounds like a job for yours
I
truly.
have no limits! Prepare to be seized! Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno! Demon Song!
Here, let me help.
Demon Fang! Okay, you suck! Demon Fang! Try harder!
Far enough.
Demon Fang! We did it!
As impressive as always.
Here I hope that was complete.
No, I mean you're even better than ever.
In a
I've
bind?
never seen Xion actually look clever.
Take this!
Glacial Here's the evil.
Demon Fang! Shockwave Thrust! Coming through! Ha! Melt! Scarlet Inferno! Demon Fang!
Where are you going? Lightning strike. Do it. This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
There you go, Ellie.
It's time to end this battle!
I'm right beside you. Here, let me help.
Burn in hell! Demon Fang!
Magic is in here. Hurricane
Demon Fang! Try harder! Demon Fang!
Glacial spear.
Demon Fang! Explosive ring! Demon Fang!
Piercing roar. Glacial spear. Here's the evil.
Here I come! No escape! Demon Fang! Here I come!
Do it.
Still!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished! My turn! I'm not finished!
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare Demolitor.
One inside me! Yours to be let free! Fire Cleaver! Eat dirt! Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! Sonic Thrust! Fire Cleaver! Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! Fire Cleaver!
Far enough.
Sonic Thrust! Pierce through! Sonic Thrust!
Do it.
Still!
This ends now.
Consider yourself finished!
Step back. This one's all law.
Hey! Hey, new equipment! This one's tough!
Focus.
I'll take you all on!
In a bind?
Demon Fang! Double Demon
Far
Fang!
beyond the ghost. Field.
Return to the Coming through! Ha! Melt! Violet Inferno!
Far beyond the darkest sky!
Burn!
Healing circle! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee! This one's mine! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Take this!
Will this help? Shooting star! Hurricane! I owe you one for that! Lightning condemned!
I could do without Not today! Take this!
Here goes! Hurricane strike! Look sharp! Fire's not...
Feeling so hot.
Take it easy. You'll hurt yourself.
Sorry. Didn't mean to make you worry.
Lightning condemned! Thunderblade! Lightning condemned! Thunderblade!
Look sharp.
Here's a healing arc! Lightning condemned!
In a bind?
Appreciate the help.
Lightning condemned! Thunderblade!
As impressive as always.
Here's a healing arc!
Damn, no!
I'll take you all on. Ha! Flare the Malisa!
Lightning! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon
This one's
thee!
mine!
First aid! Watch and fly! Shooting star! Annihilate! Mega ray! Far beyond the darkest sky! I call upon thee!
Rising Wyvern!
Lightning condemned! Thunderblade! Hear me! Flame of fury! Burning strike! It's time to finish this! Die! Consuming wildfire! Hurricane strike! Lightning strike! Fire cleaver! Lunar correction! Lunar blast! I'm all up! Lightning! Leave the enemy's arcs to me!
No complaints here!
I'm ready! One at a time! Take that!
You picked the wrong fight! Blending Flash!
You get the healing seal!
I owe you.
Get on in there with the others!
Need to pull myself.
Far enough!
Blah, blah, blah! Hurricane strike! An expert! Come here! Healing ray! Illuminate the... You get the hurricane strike! Holy light!
Sonic Thrust!
Radiant lion! I'm all stuffed up! Thunder field! Hurricane strike!
Pierce through!
Here's a healing
Sonic Thrust!
Take this!
Sonic Thrust!
This is not easy!
Sonic
Eruption!
Thrust!
Now!
Kitara! Commander of Heaven!
Phoenix Cyclone!
Everyone's still in one piece?
What do you think this place was for?
What the hell? Are they asleep?
No. They appear to be well preserved. However, they are all dead.
Dead? So this is a mass grave?
Looks that way. However, none of them appear to be Helganquil.
Bear in mind that Renans were originally Danans, who were remade and sent to live on Lenegus. Knowing that, they would have needed a place to perform the procedure somewhere.
And that place is here, I assume.
So what you're saying is that all of these are Danon? Or rather, Renan bodies?
Most likely, yes. It must have been abandoned for one reason or another.
There are so many of them. They were all taken away, but never given the chance to wake.
What is that thing?
Something we have to fight if we want to get across, it seems.
Be careful! It's huge!
What is with all this... These lumbering beasts lately?
It's no ordinary Zooble. That much is damn sure.
Watch yourself. All bets are off when it comes to this thing. Strike!
Concentration!
Now I can let loose.
Steering flame!
Be still!
Up here, sir! Steering
Down.
flame! Time to reload!
You picked the wrong fight!
Fires of passion coursing this flame! Far beyond the darkest
Blending
skies!
strike!
I call upon thee!
Its head is its weak point? We'll need to bring it down somehow to hit it.
In that case, let's start with the one in the middle.
Double demon fang!
Shooting star!
In a bind?
Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon
It's on!
I require complete focus! Mega ray! By the power of
Burn!
far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Inferno crossing!
Dragon form!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Double demon fang!
Shooting star!
Here goes! My head's spinning with a
One devastation! Prepare to be sealed!
Thanks for the healing.
Watch yourself, okay?
Yeah, you too.
Gotcha!
Time to
Beyond
let
the
it rip!
darkest skies!
Demon
I call upon thee!
Not today!
Lunar arc!
Thanks!
Shooting star!
Why'd you heal me?
Beyond the
To
darkest
stop you
skies!
dying?
I call upon thee! Samurai Aqua! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Here's Evo! Shooting star! Freeze Lancer! Ground and Pearl! Lightning Downfall! Here I go! One more! Fires of passion courses the here's the healing darkness! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Igneous discharge!
Lunar blast! Wasn't weak! Far beyond the darkest skies! Standing form! I call upon thee! First aim!
I owe you one.
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon
Make it rain!
Alpin! Astral energy!
Say no more!
Fires of passion course in the flame! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Infernal torrent! Ignite!
Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Inferno crossing! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Can't get out of this!
Now you're getting
Shooting
serious?
star! First aim!
This one's mine!
Here! Shooting star! Blah blah blah! Sharpness! Here, let go! Lightning green! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Your art!
Shooting star!
Glacial spear!
Here's the far beyond the darkest skies! Blah blah blah! Shooting star!
Come on! You have to hold on!
Barbie, you get
won't
the gist.
save you!
Healing circle!
Shooting
Prepare to be
sealed!
Lunar
I got you!
Shooting star! You get the gist.
I'm ready to go!
Shooting star! Where are you going? You get the gist.
I'll finish you here.
Shooting star!
Now you talk.
Take this!
You get the gist. Sharpness!
Appreciate the help. And just like that, I'm back in it.
Start by holding the front line.
No sooner said than done.
Close one! Damn it! Far beyond the darkest
what I can do!
Will this help?
Yes, come and get it!
Healing circle! Thanks! Just what I needed! Thanks!
This should do it!
Sharpness!
Their hearts were interrupted.
Far beyond the darkest
You picked the wrong fight!
I call upon thee!
Do you require a hand?
Rising Wyvern!
Here's a shooting star! Fire's attack! Magic is amped! Sharpness! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee!
Ready and raring!
The enemy's on the ropes. We've got him where we want him. It's time to end this battle.
I call upon thee! Here's a healing
So
arm!
now you're getting serious?
Into the shadows! Shooting star! Fire's attack and courses the sharpness! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Annihilation! Shooting star! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Shooting star! Will this help? Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! I will heal you all! Shooting star! You get the gift! Healing sharpness! Far beyond the darkest skies! On your toes, everyone!
I'd do without you.
You picked
Perhaps
the wrong
now
fight!
isn't the time?
I really don't.
Shooting star!
Can't get out of this!
You get the gift! Close one! Enough ammo! Far beyond the darkest skies! I call upon thee! Thanks so much! Shooting star!
Now you see what I can do!
Finish it! Look sharp! Lightning Tiger Blade! The hell was that thing?
Probably something that was made here and somehow managed to survive, even after all this time. Not that there's any way of knowing now.
What's wrong?
Oh, I just suddenly found myself contemplating what might have happened to the sovereigns that were meant to emerge from the crown contests. What do you mean? You see, the winners of the past crown contests were all strong astral arts practitioners. Furthermore, that enemy we just fought appeared to be composed of several human bodies. It was certainly nothing one would find in nature.
You're saying those were the remains of the winners? That they forgot who they once were?
I'm merely saying it's a possibility.
That's absolutely gruesome. How long had the Helganquil been at this?
It was Rena's great spirit that made them do all of this. Anything to get its astral energy.
We're not gonna jump down, right?
I certainly hope not.
After hearing Dohmu's suggestion, I'm honestly not sure what to say.
I assure you all, I was merely stating the possibility.
So, looks like the Helganquil have been engineering Zeugles too. Why doesn't that surprise me at this point?
The creatures we've been encountering here have been a little different to what we're used to fighting, but I'm pretty sure they're Zeugles too.
Do you think they were engineered using creatures native to the area?
Indeed. However, based on the current circumstances, I would guess these Zeugles are all that's left of the planet's fauna now.
You mean, there might have been native owl species here once upon a time too?
We're back in that other room? Did the teleporter fail or something?
Something feels off about it.
Look! Everything's upside down!
The furnishings are, at least. No, you're right. The whole room's flipped on its head.
So what was once down is now up. And vice versa. I suppose the teleporter reversed our orientation then.
We made it.
You guys checked your equipment? Lately? What do you all say to taking the path less trodden for once?
Path?
Do you mean that thing that looked...
Poodle says your gut's wrong.
Really?
Not that main roads are necessary.
Alphen always did.
Like the landslide?
I'll say.
Probably best we stick to doing our...
Hey,
Maybe if we pretend we...
Don't you think the path forward is...
Good point.
guys?
Hey, Law. Been
Yeah, I guess
Yeah. A word of advice. You might want to refrain from mentioning...
Man, can you imagine Rinwell's face? She'd have a nervous breakdown.
I meant in general, but... You sure mention her a lot, you know.
Huh? Oh, you know, she's always there, even when you least expect it. Springs to mind easily.
Either that, or maybe some part of you is subconsciously always wishing she was there.
May the trials and tribulations of young romance never change.
Romance? Like I'd be interested in that know-it-all tomboy.
You know, I used to be a tomboy too when I was Rinwell's age.
Look, it's not tomboys I have anything against. But come on, you've got to admit she can be a lot to handle.
Hey, I miss anything? What's all the fuss about?
Rinwell!
Thunderblade!
Ah! What the hell was that for?
A little birdie told me you were speaking about me behind my back. Whew!
From the looks of it, I'd say you've got yourself a rival.
It wouldn't be called the Spring of Youth.
Hey, Shion. How are you and Alphen getting on these days?
That's a little out of the blue. Why do you ask?
Sorry, it's just... I don't know, I'm just curious, I guess. I mean, a lot's changed now he's got his senses back and all.
I suppose you're right. Well, to tell you the truth, if he'd been the way he is now back when I'd first met him, I probably wouldn't have gotten this involved. But then, if we hadn't met like we did, then I never would have experienced these feelings, so... I guess it's complicated.
I can imagine. I know it's not the same thing, but I know what it feels like to have someone you love who's out of reach.
Because of Miguel.
Alphen's still alive. It's not too late, you know. And after all, who can say what the future holds? I think if I were you, I'd take things as they come for now.
Besides, touch isn't everything. I've never touched you, Shion, but that doesn't stop you from knowing that I care about you, right?
That's true. But I do remember back when we first met, you made it plenty clear you weren't my biggest fan.
But that was a long time ago. There were lots of things I didn't understand back then. Not that that's the point.
Don't worry, I'm only teasing. I know what you mean. Thank you. And you're right. There are ways.
I'll say. And if it's someone's fate...
You might just have...
Uh-oh. If it's out...
Well, friend...
Why are you staring at me?
Even after staying here, we never truly...
Renan and
That might be the case.
Once.
If it's not, we'll just...
You're right.
These things... What the...
Sorry.
A bug?
Something tells...
This realm is teeming with humid forest. In fact, I seem to recall reading somewhere...
Sounds like they're tougher than they look. I wouldn't say I was their #1 fan.
Insects as a color...
Dohalim, I don't think he was talking about...
Hey, a lizard! I never thought about this until now, Alphen, but doesn't it get hot wearing that armor all the time? You feel heat and cold again, don't you?
Admittedly, yeah. It can get pretty toasty in this thing.
Is it hard when your back starts to itch?
Oh, you bet. Plus, my shoulders get stiff wearing it, even if it's not all that heavy.
Kisara looks like she manages all right with her armor.
Armor takes a strong body and a stout heart.
Spoken like a true guardsman. Not that I really get what you mean.
The more I think about it, the more I realize what a pain it must be. Like, what do you do when you need to take a leak?
Ew!
That part can be a bit of a pain, yeah. More things to take off.
That sucks, man. Wouldn't it be easier if you just walked around outside of your armor most of the time instead?
You never know when the enemy might attack. As tempting as it might be to take it off, it's not worth getting killed over.
So basically, you're screwed if you ever get attacked while taking a dump. Right, Rinwell?
Are you doing this on purpose? I love how much amazing food we get to eat even when we're out on the road.
Me too. Especially compared to what I used to have when I was still a slave. This is paradise.
It's amazing what good food can do to keep your hopes up. Miguel used to say all the time that the power of food is subtle, yet profound.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? For whatever reason, I find I don't worry nearly as much when I've got a full stomach helping me out.
That's why you shouldn't be such a picky eater.
Huh?
She's right. You always leave food that you don't like on your plate when you're done.
Come on, what's the big deal?
Back in the day, I couldn't think about leaving any food. It was such a waste not to eat at all. You needed every last scrap of energy.
Exactly. Even when my brother and I didn't have much to eat, we all did what we could to make it taste good and enjoy what we had.
That definitely explains a lot about why you cook the way you do, Kisara.
Dohalim, I bet you don't know what any of that's like. You must be used to food being handed to you on a silver platter.
Sometimes it was gold.
You didn't shy away from that at all.
Although, there was one experience that does come to mind.
Oh?
When I first learned that the food I ate originally came from animals and fish, I was rather taken aback.
You just ate whatever was in front of you without even thinking about it?
That's a silver spoon elite for you.
Your cooking has really improved, Shion.
It's because of you that I understand what makes it so fun. I'm glad everyone seems to enjoy what I make too.
I've noticed a disturbing trend that after it's your turn to cook, our ingredients tend to run really low. What's up with that?
That is a good point, Law. There's a weird difference between the amount of ingredients she prepares and how much food actually gets served. Curious. Very curious indeed.
I don't know. Isn't it pretty normal for veggies to shrink a little when you fry them up?
Or maybe she eats all the bad batches herself so we won't notice.
Come on, I wouldn't do anything like that.
Then how would you explain the difference?
Ahem. I have a theory that I wish to propose.
What is it?
As we all know, Shion here can have quite the appetite. I imagine she often taste tests her own food as she prepares it. By my eye, it would appear that her footprints are leaving deeper impressions as of late. Far be it from me to level such an accusation, but the facts lead me to conclude that...
She's been snacking while she cooks.
And yet, she still looks so slender in her clothing.
Yeah, I'm kind of envious, actually.
Wait a sec, are you guys trying to say she's...
I'm what?
Nothing?
Nothing. Shion, could we talk a moment?
I thought you had something to talk about. I was waiting on you.
Not really. Why? Should I leave you alone when I don't?
No, it's fine.
We used to really have to force these conversations when we started talking to each other, didn't we?
To say the least. Hey.
What is it?
Do you think you'd like to make something together?
Make what exactly?
Just if you wanna make dinner together. What did you think I meant?
Huh? Dinner? Oh, dinner, yes. Yes, of course. Dinner. Right.
What did you think I was talking about?
No, it's nothing. Don't worry about it. Anyway, what did you have in mind?
Well, do you recognize these ingredients?
This is... Wait, is this?
So you remember? That's right. We're going to fix the very first meal we ever had together. Although I remember it not being well received when we had it.
You still remember that, huh? I'm sorry, Shion.
I'm just teasing you, Alphen. I picked this recipe because it's easy to make, and I thought it would be a good choice for dinner, too. Anyway, let's get to work. With both of us making it, we should be finished in no time.
I never thought we'd end up eating alone like this again. Just the two of us.
Yeah. So much has changed when you look back on it. Well, I guess maybe not what we're eating, but still.
No, I'd say even that's changed.
True.
That's not exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
Even after our battle.
Yep.
I hope our...
Maybe not...
Oh, no, not...
And real chairs instead of these logs.
And when it's time to fix dinner, we'll...
Standing side by side.
Whoops. Looks like we made too much.
Yeah, you're right.
Side by...
I'm looking forward to breakfast. Did you get enough sleep? Sleep?
We finally made it. I'm getting pretty hungry.
Wanna... sit down and fix something?
Yep, the sooner the better. Doing some thinking?
Nah. It just occurred to me that our journey's been going for a while now.
Is it a wonder to you our group has held together this long?
Maybe. We've got Danans, Renans, a lord, a mage, and even a guy from another time. Yet here we all are, leaning on each other as travel companions. It's like a minor miracle.
If anything, I'd say it's proof. Proof that as long as we accept each other for who we are, we can all get along.
And with understanding comes togetherness. Yeah, we are more than enough evidence of that.
I've always had a thorny relationship with others. Quite literally, as it happens. I figured that it was easier to give up on intimacy, rather than having to go through all of the pain of rejection. I mean, is it any wonder I grew thorns around my heart, too?
But now...
Right. Now... I still have my thorns, of course. But they don't cover my heart. I know now that there is more than one way for people to relate to one another. It was you and everyone else here that taught me that. Everyone that you brought together, Alphen.
It wasn't just me. I mean, sure, I invited a few folks to join us, but... swordsmanship's about all I have to offer. Everyone's taught and supported me just as much as I have them.
You see? That's what I'm talking...
What do you...
I mean, the bond, it's not just one...
Shion, about that fight just now.
Sorry about that. I
didn't come to...
You don't need to worry. It's like how you used to not care.
You're right.
Then what do you mean?
It's different now.
Look, if you mean because you...
It's because I don't want to see you getting hurt. You're right. When I couldn't feel any pain, I didn't listen to it. This isn't about you and me being... Is that a
No. It is... We can't expect our enemies to show us...
I'm sorry if...
I will, at least.
Hey, Alphen. Why do you like spicy?
You know,
But now that you can...
Did you like spicy?
Not as much as...
I can most certainly...
I don't think that's...
I just wish I could have gotten you...
I like food that's dense.
We all know you're a quantity of...
What was that?
Nothing.
You know, I've also noticed Shion's not really into the same kind of food most...
That's so me. Even when I was little, I was all...
And I guess Kisara is so good...
I'm only good with fish because it used to be the easiest...
I like fish just fine. But what I really like about your cook...
Really? You know, I used to cook a lot.
When you get down to it...
Hey, guys! I don't see...
What?
I know! The bag we...
What?
Huh?
This affects you too, you know!
What? How could this happen?
Hunger is like that. The moment you...
Whoever did this. Law?
What? Hey, don't look at me like that!
Food. Hand it over.
Stay away!
Hey, I'm back!
Only a poignant reminder of how...
I see.
That turned out good, if I do say. Shion, could we talk a moment?
I think it's time we go to sleep. Morning. Ready to head out?
Finally. If only we could have flown.